Wow, I really hate this peeler and it's gonna make it so terrible, but I guess it's a time lapse so people won't really care.
Yeah, they won't see.
But it look how like, ugh. I guess you're gonna put this at the intro, right? Like me getting so pissed off at this stupid peeler because I forgot it. Hi, I'm Spencer. I cook, develop recipes, and I grow 45 varieties of tomato, you know, like a normal person. I'm passionate about food and how it brings people together. Today, we're making ranch. So you guys have had ranch. Ranch is a very popular salad dressing and dip. I did some Googling last night on Wikipedia to look it up. It was invented in the 1950s by a guy named Steve Hansen, who was a plumber actually. He created this recipe for ranch. It got very popular, and he and his wife actually bought a dude ranch, which is apparently like a you know, bed and breakfast ranch where people come to stay and everything. Anyways, it got very popular with the guests there, and he started to bottle it and sell it and manufacture it. And in the 1970s, it got a big break, got bought up by Clorox, you know, the cleaning company, ranch dressing, makes sense. And it got even more popular. And then it hit its height in the 1990s when it overtook Italian for most popular salad dressing in America. Who would have thought? So ranch is characterized by the flavors of buttermilk and dill and garlic, and usually it's kind of mayonnaise based or sour cream based. For my version, I want to make it a little more healthy using yogurt, and I know some of you guys aren't gonna like this, but I'm not gonna give you guys an exact recipe for today. What I want to do is I want to use ranch to help develop your confidence in the kitchen. I want you guys to have some cooking intuition. So I'm gonna give approximate measurements. I'm gonna give you guys some variations on what you can do to create your own version of ranch dressing. Let's get started. So let's talk about ingredients and supplies you guys need for the ranch dressing. Start off with the whole Greek yogurt here. I like using whole dairy whenever cooking. The extra fat brings more flavor. I love Strauss Family Creamery. They make great stuff. They were one of the first dairies to go fully organic in the 90s. They actually take all the methane from the cows and they use that to generate electricity for the vehicles. Not sponsored by them, but they're fantastic. So I love their stuff. Buttermilk we use to kind of thin it out a little bit, and it gives that tang and that buttermilk flavor, which is fantastic. Next we have the herbs over here. I'm using dill, which is probably the most traditional for ranch, but I'm also using parsley and chives. You can mix that up, more on that later. Salt, pepper, and then we have lemons, which brings some nice acidity and brightness to the dressing. Garlic, very important flavoring. I think that's about it for the actual dressing. I have a whole slew of vegetables over here to use as a dip, but we'll walk through that later. So all we're really using for equipment is a bowl, we have a knife, cutting board, spoon to stir everything together, and this is probably the only thing. It's called a microplane. It's a grater. We use that for the garlic and the lemon. I highly suggest getting one if you don't have one. So, start with the yogurt, and we're using, I will give you this, it's about 2 cups of yogurt. I'm also estimating, so who really knows? And then we just kind of mix everything together. So buttermilk, so with the buttermilk, we start out with less than more. I'm making a dip version, so I want it a little thicker, but if you're making this into a dressing for salad, you can add a little more, but I like to add a little more towards the end. So we'll start with that. And if you don't have buttermilk, you can use milk. I've used water, it doesn't really matter. Heavy pinch of salt, probably close to a teaspoon. Pepper. With spices, you can also add ground coriander or cumin, even some smoked paprika would be nice, even cayenne, a little spice would be not bad. For the herbs, I'm gonna start with dill. And these are all soft herbs. Again, I'm using dill, chives, and parsley, but if you guys wanted to use cilantro or mint or basil during the summer, those would be all really great in this. I would stay away from the woodier herbs that need to be cooked generally before eating, so like rosemary and thyme and sage. I wouldn't use those guys. So, I'm gonna start with some dill. We just wanna chop everything really, really fine. I'm gonna move this there. gonna fold it under. Give it a nice rough chop. So you can put that in there. And then we're gonna do parsley. Parsley just gives it a nice flavor. With parsley, you generally pick the leaves off the stem, which takes a little bit of time, but the stem is a little bit tough and you don't really want to eat that. So I like to gather the leaves together like this. If it has some stem, that's fine. And then break it like that. Okay. Kind of ball up the parsley like this and give it a nice fine chop. And I'm gonna go and take my knife and run it back through a couple times to just really get it nice and fine. You notice I'm holding like my hand flat against the top, and then I'm just kind of rocking the knife back and forth through it. Gives you a nice even cut for the herbs because you don't want to bruise them. So there's the parsley. Lastly, we have the chives. I love chives. I think they add a nice kind of oniony taste to it without being too strong, but green onions work really well as well. So give it a nice fine mince. Okay, so we got our herbs in there. I'm gonna take out the big pieces that didn't get cut. All right, let's do our garlic. Head of garlic. I'm just gonna take 2 cloves of garlic. Raw garlic is like really powerful. I know everyone loves garlic, but use less because you can always add more. And the longer it sits, the more flavorful the garlic gets. And it adds a nice spiciness too. So I'm just gonna hit it with the top of the knife, remove the paper, and I'm gonna use a microplane to grate it. So I think I'm probably gonna be adding 2 cloves, but again, I'm gonna start with 1 clove. Now we're gonna add the lemon. For the lemon, it's great because lemon juice is citric acid and the tartness in the dairy is lactic acid. So it's kind of nice to have the different acidity levels and that nice tang. We also want the lemon zest. So we're gonna take the microplane and just kind of zest the lemon like this. And we just wanna get the yellow. We don't want that bitter white pith. Put that in. And then we want the juice. I just juice it through my fingers. Just a little bit of that. All right, now the next thing to do is we stir it all together. Give it a taste, and then you're gonna kind of have to balance it out. So it needs more salt, pepper, but it's tasting pretty good. Oh, olive oil. Olive oil will take the tang off the dairy and the yogurt. It also adds a lot of fat, which is nice. And it helps the flavors to be more dispersed throughout. Yeah, it's pretty balanced. It has a good amount of flavor from the herbs and the garlic and lemon, a little bit of olive oil coming through. It's nicely seasoned with the salt. So again, if you were gonna make this into a dressing, I'd add a little more buttermilk to thin it out, but this is a great consistency for dip. So now we're gonna prep our vegetables. You guys can really use whatever you have on hand or what's in season, but I'll walk you through what I have today. It's winter, so I have a bunch of root vegetables that are crunchy that go well with ranch. Here's some beets. Oh, these are beets. These are watermelon radishes. This is a green daikon. This is fennel, which is a crunchy bulb. It has a slight licoricey taste, which is really nice. Radishes, which I love, and my friends used to make fun of me because I put radishes on everything, and I was self-conscious about it. I wasn't. I still use so many radishes. So these are purple radishes and breakfast radishes. This is endive, type of chicory, and it's nice and bitter and crunchy, which goes well with the ranch. carrots, all kinds, and these are from my garden, different kinds of peas, and I have some mustard flowers. So this is our ranch with vegetables, and I hope that you guys make this, and I hope that you make it your own. With this whole recipe, I hope that you develop the confidence in the kitchen and that cooking intuition. If you want it with more herbs and more garlic, please do it that way. I love it as a dip with vegetables, but feel free to change that up. And I hope that you guys enjoy this video. And you know, if you want to see more of this, click like and subscribe. Let us know if you do make this. Tag us on Instagram at Spencer Cooks, and we will see you next time.